That's a bronze. But you're gonna get the gold.
Man, I've never met two people who cut it so close, knowing it's about showtime. I'm like, okay, I will just hit the live stream. We'll just go.
I'm gonna tell him, I gotta go to the car. We got 1 minute. I just got here.
And then here you come popping in. I'm like, okay. Hey, welcome, everybody. Welcome. Hey, guys, how was your week? How was your weekend? How was everything?
Jesus.
We had good weekend. Good weekend, Dawson Youth Weekend. We're at Browns Mills. Overseer Dickie, as we know him, we were at he was hosting, and we had a good time. Good time. So
Wasn't his birthday also?
I'm sorry?
Wasn't it his birthday too?
Was it?
Oh, are we talking about Frank or someone different?
It's about Frank. Was it?
Yeah, I thought it was his birthday this
Man,
weekend.
we didn't say nothing. He didn't tell nobody, so we didn't say nothing. That's a bad deal.
And he just did not want to see he got another gray hair. So
that makes two. He's got two now. Good. How about your weekends, guys? How was your weekends?
How was your weekend, man?
Yep. Okay. Anyway, no, I just got back from the ball game. The Orioles, they won 10-4. So I'm 95 going, why is it raining? Traffic was slow. And then in about 3 minutes later, it stopped raining. I'm like, okay, then traffic's still moving slow. But I got here on time. The weekend was quiet. Church was good. If I forgot anything, I'm sure my family will let me know.
Don't remind me.
Well, it was my wife's birthday weekend, so we're celebrating with her all weekend long. And it was interesting. We were at the movies and we're leaving out, and we couldn't go towards the mall area because, unfortunately, it was a shooting in the mall. And a person lost their life, and it was just tragic. I'm like, in a mall like that, basically, there's no such thing as a quiet area anymore.
No.
There's no such thing like that. In an area where you think things would not happen, it's starting to happen in those particular areas.
It's
crazy. But other than that, great word on yesterday, and just excited about what God's doing next, man. I tell you, it's been crazy stuff happening in this world, as you've seen. And let's talk about the Olympics while we're on crazy stuff. What do you think about the opening ceremony?
I didn't watch it because, I'll tell you the truth, I'm not a huge Olympics fan. I watch the track and field. I watch the track and field because Jamaica always does something special.
I got your back on that. Yep.
So I watch track and field. I will watch the basketball now only because I want to make sure that the U.S. wins, because if we don't, then it's a shame. And then I'll watch things here and there. Like sometimes the biathlon will let me see the biathlon. That's a winter thing, so this is not going to happen here. Right. The decathlon sometimes, that's a track and field thing. So yeah, I mostly watch the track and field. Gymnastics, yeah. What about you guys? What do you thought?
Well, I'm track and field, gymnastics, rowing, equestrian, fencing. I love the fencing.
I'm not no fencing.
Fencing is
what
good.
What about handball and
handball
and water polo?
Soccer, water polo.
Yes.
And high dive.
I like the swimming. Yeah. But with the Olympics, you find a lot of sports that you ain't never seen that are really, really popular. I did watch the men's beach volleyball team got beat by Cuba. I saw that.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
That was not unfortunate.
It was unfortunate.
It was a great game. So
that was qualifying though. That was qualifying, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, but this should have been disqualified. But yeah,
like 3 games you play. Things like 3 games you play for that. You have to win like 2 out of 3 to qualify. Something crazy for that.
Right.
So they still have a chance, but
the medal count, USA, we still got the most medals so far.
Yeah. Listen, you talking. You know what? Okay, then. So you're talking about the entrance of the Olympics. No. This is going to be combined with that show right here. And you know what? Before I even go into my eclipse, people push the button, push it. Like it, share it, subscribe it, do what you can just to pump us, and we will be here for you always and forever. No, anyway.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but we will be here with you. But yeah, let me go back to the other. So all the countries were on a barge. So they was going down the river in Paris. So each country had their own barge. Now, the ones that had little countries who was represented by one person or 5 or 10 people, they would double up on them. So all these barges are coming down, and all of a sudden, you see a ship. That's USA. No, wait a minute.
France had a ship too.
Wait a minute.
France had their own ship.
But they the host country.
But still, they had their own ship.
China had their own ship.
No. They had.
No, China did share.
They shared.
They shared.
With who?
They didn't have that too much athletes.
Who did they share with?
But my point is,
country.
America had 475 athletes there, and France had 400. And so, come on, man, the medal count gotta be kind of high.
No, it's like high school, right? You go to high school. Some football high school teams have 75 kids on their football team, and you go to another school, they only have 35, and you still got to play the game. It's just the way it goes. It's not our population; it's by the amount of athletes we put out, and just America just puts out a ton of athletes. I mean, look at Jamaica. Jamaica's a small country of 2 million people, but they have 20 track guys, 20 track people, right? Because that's what they put out. Yeah. So it happens that way. You don't see one Jamaican gymnast.
We do see an African American swimmer.
And you did have your bobsled team at that one time.
Oh, wait a minute. What? Oh, yeah. Now they got the ice hockey team, Jamaica.
Yes.
What?
I heard. We're trying to find any way to get into the Olympics. We're just trying to find a way to fit in. Anyway.
I know we're talking about the summer games, but the winter games, the one sport I still don't understand is that curling. With the little broom.
Curling is fun to watch.
It's bowling on ice.
It's the stupidest sport, man. I'm sorry.
Well,
That's my opinion.
No sport is stupid, man.
It's shuffleboard on ice, and it's fun to watch because I'll tell you this:
skillful.
It is a skill. If you ever push that thing on ice and have to make it stop, I mean, if you play shuffleboard, you know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Making that disc stop where you want it to stop, and now they're adding this sweeping thing to smoothen out the.
And if you don't move the ice, the puck, whatever they call it, it's not moving.
Yeah.
So it's a special. You see how close they get to it, though?
Oh yeah.
I
agree with that.
It's an art.
Yeah, okay.
So
anyway, tonight we're not really talking about sports like the Olympics, but we're talking about teams. Yes. And we're talking about teams versus being a player on a team.
Teamwork.
So, Rupert, let's just kick it off.
Yeah. So everybody, so the thing is this, right? We have but many of us have been part of a team in some way, whether it was in sports, whether it was a school activity, whether it was at work and you were part of something, or in church, you were actually part of a team. And there are people that are part of a team and work with the team, but then there's people who just are there playing the game. And what we mean is if you watch soccer, right? You can go to a field in most countries and there'll be people kicking the soccer ball around and they're just playing the game. A lot of the guys on there never played in a set game or never played in a place where there was, officials there. But then you have the guys that do. And you can see, even if their skill may not be the par to everybody else, their gameplay is a lot better because they understand the nuances of the game because they've been on teams. So the question is this: in church, are we part of a team or are we just playing the game? And I think the answer is we're supposed to be part of a team.
Right. So some people are just players.
Make sure you bring your questions and comments out to us. But the first question I'm going to kick off to you guys is, do you feel that churches are team-oriented or people are just there playing a game?
It can go two ways. There are some churches that do have active participants that are active team players. But then you have some churches that have a mix. And you have some churches who people just come to just spectators. They don't be involved. They just come, get their quick surf the channel fix of ministry, music, whatever, and bam, they're gone. You don't see them until the following Sunday. But he has some players in the church who are fully engaged, be about the ministry, want to see the ministry progress. They're going to do whatever part they need to play to make sure it's successful.
So when we do say players, church people or church members, church saints, don't be offended. When we say players, we're just talking about group or whatever, and just generalizing. So don't get offended that we calling you a player in church, because there may be a few that are in church who are players, but
player.
But the team. So are we dividing this into, like, you have your different ministries as team members, and then all them team members have to come together somewhere, somehow, for your church to be, when I say successful, I mean, I'm not talking about the spiritual part, but to be strengthened together. So this team, the ushers are here with the greeters working with the security. So if I'm making it smaller, the teams, I'll just use the security team. If you're assigned a position on the team.
Okay, here we go.
If you're assigned a position on the team, and I say, if you have to leave and go somewhere, let me know. Let the team know. But you can't leave that position empty. Because if it is, at least we know why it's empty. Now, if you leave and then all of a sudden something happens and I'm going, so-and-so on what happened over, and I'm looking up and going, what? Okay, so-and-so, where are you? See, that's the breakdown of teamwork. Because if you have meetings before, just like they do when they practice and do that, and before even they do that, they sit down in rooms and sit down, we're going to do this and we're going to do this. If we do this, so it all comes to there. But when it comes to teamwork in church, just like Mark was saying, you have 90% of your workers. Now, I'll just say now, I'm giving a good number. 90% are willing to do and do their job, but there's always seems like one or two, and that's even like on other sports teams too. That you keep going, oh man, and you get frustrated.
I mean, because we'll look at, step away from the church, and we'll look at the soccer pitch. Mm-hmm. If the players are not in their right position, what's going to happen? Mm-hmm. Your opponent is going to score against you because you are not. If I'm supposed to be in the left, but yet I'm over in the right, I'm not supposed to be in the right field. I'm supposed to be in the left field. Mm-hmm. Same thing in ministry. A lot of people don't like to stay in their position. Mm-hmm. They'd rather be over here versus being over here when you're needed right here. And that's the challenge.
And before you say something, because I know Ruben's going to say something, just like he said, the defender, when they do go down the left and they do go down the wing and they're pressing forward, a midfield player will come back to back him up. So his position is not out of whack. Right. So that's how that works like that. So the defender just can't go down there when he just feels like it, but he'll be covered. So that's a little bit about opinions right there. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, and you guys, I think you guys are talking about it. Another thing I was going to add to your point, Mark, and Simon, the last points you're making was that, and if you're out of position, you often now put stress on somebody else.
Exactly.
Now they've got to cover your position.
Yes.
They got to leave themselves vulnerable because maybe the person who has the ball is not in their position, but the person with the ball, they've got to stop them. It's any sport. In basketball, same thing. If you go for a steal and you miss the steal, now you're putting your team in a stressful position because they're outnumbered. And I think that a lot of times we have created players and not a team in church. And I think that that's one of the biggest differences that's happening in our walk. And again, everybody, please chime in with your questions or your comments. Yeah. But I think that I look at musicians, for instance, right now, a lot of churches don't have set musicians. They pay the musicians to come in, fill a spot to play, and then leave, not to be part of the team, but to play and to leave because it's assignment to fill the spot. And that's not where you want to be. You want that musician there because there's things that you want to create. I'm in that situation right now, and we're looking for something better when it comes to that, and we will get it. Thank God, I know we will. But now we're just filling in players, and we're not filling in teammates. And
I remember. Well, a job I had, I remember, never forget when I joined the organization. The lead person said, he was talking about he and the other, we're a well-oiled machine. We do stuff with precision, basically telling me that I better not mess up.
Yeah, he's not telling you, but yeah.
Right. He was using that, analogy, and I'm like, okay, I get it. And I had to come up to speed quick to make sure that machine was running the way it should be running, that there was no missing pieces or was not missing a beat, so to speak. And that's the same thing within the church. When it comes to ministry, it should not miss a beat. Everybody needs to be where they need to be, because if I'm coming into your church, I'm looking going, wasn't greeted, that's a check minus. Wasn't seated properly, that's a check minus. No one said anything, that's another check minus. People need to be aware of those type of things, because if you're visiting somebody else's church, it reflects upon the leadership. Even though the leader may have stressed to the team members, you need to do such and such and such and such and such. It's difficult for the leader to make sure everybody's doing everything. That's where that accountability piece comes in.
Yeah, I was going to talk about and we'll get into coachability, right? Because some team players are coachable and some aren't, and we got to talk about coachability. We'll get into that, but let's hit some of these thoughts that some of our folks, some of our good viewers are talking about.
Yes.
Keith is saying, I feel like I am part of some good teams in church. Of course, we can always use and welcome more people on our teams. There is room for everybody to serve in some way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but there are some. This is the thing.
Yes, but I'm with you.
Yeah. Every great player may not be right for a certain team, right? There are certain players that can be on any team. They're just that good. You can put Messi, you can put LeBron, you can put a lot of these guys on any team, and they're going to be great. But then you have some good players who are good for the team that they're with, because the process of that team works to their strengths. You move them on to another team, the chemistry often breaks down. So yes, we want people to volunteer, but we want you to volunteer in your strengths. And you have to be willing to know that, you know what, I'm not good for this team. Let me go to another team, because I'm not a good greeter, but I may be really great in the AV room. So instead of me getting mad that everybody's mad at me because I don't greet well, step away, go to the AV room, because Keith is right. There's room for you, everybody, but be careful what team, in my opinion, be careful what team you step on.
Well, that's important. You got to know which team. I mean, I love those movies where it deals with like 300, those type of things. It's like when the first flank goes like, send in the archers. The archers will do what they need to do. And after the archers have done what they need to do, then you got the swordsmen. They'll come out and do what they need to do. Then you got those who shoot the big catapult things over. Each one knew their job to win that battle. I can't be a swordsman. My craft is an archer.
Right.
It's not going to work. I mean, I'll be swinging the sword all like this, but my precision is like this. And that's the problem we have. Everybody think they can do something, but they're not gifted in that particular arena. And it's hard for them to get, I should say, it's hard for them to understand, baby, this is not where you're supposed to be. They take offense to it.
Yeah.
That's the hardest. That is the hardest, because Ruby, you said if people can actually volunteer themselves and go, you know what, this one's not for me. Let me try something else. It's hard for people to do that. And then instead of saying that, or go to the person in charge and just go, hey, Simon, you know what? I love the team. I love the job, but this is just not for me. And that's what that was the post office was about too, is if this isn't, you got 5 days to decide whether you want to do this or not.
Just 5 days.
Well, what I'm saying is, if it's cold, if it's hot, they just think he's walking on the street, when inside it's memorization and all this stuff. Look, you got 5. I know it's not long, but no one's going to lose out if you say no. You can always go somewhere else in another apartment. But yeah, just like you said, I was watching the movie The Great Wall. I don't know if you remember
I
that.
love that. Yes.
With
Now,
Matt Damon?
that is team.
That was
With
team.
Matt
Yes.
Damon?
Yes.
Yeah, how everybody was that the women did what
Did
they
the
got to do.
diving.
The man was on the wall.
Right.
It was all doing that, but it couldn't work
Unless.
unless someone says, you know what, I want to do what they're doing, and break up the chemistry. And that's another word, I guess, is chemistry. But it's very hard to tell church saints, this is not for you.
and you know, it's and on the opposite side, it's very hard for us to tell church saints also, this is for you. You're just not trying.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
You're so lost in I can't do it that you're not even trying. Let's talk about coachability. The honest, there's a lot of saints that aren't coachable. You try to work with them, you try to help them, but they refuse to be coachable and to be coached up. But what's crazy about it, they'll do it at work. Their job, they'll take any criticism, they'll take whatever, because there's a check at the end of it. But in the church,
Go down that lane. Yes. Oh, yes.
Yes, that's the basic truth.
I'm glad you opened that door, because that's the thing that irritates me, man. You can take the blunts from the job, but as soon as someone in the church tries to give you constructive criticism, I'm not going to this church no more. They're too mean over there. They're too strict. It's just constructive criticism to help you see what needs to be done correctly. I don't get that. They give you constructive criticism in the job. You didn't quit. You said, okay, I took this as a learning experience to help me grow on this particular job. Same thing within the church. This is to help you grow spiritually, to make you a better steward or whatever the case may be. But again, people take offense to it.
And I know some leaders, they have their faults too, because they don't want to listen to nobody.
Oh man!
So we'll remember all this. Not always but they don't want to listen to nobody, which is hard to get by, because you can't get past them, because you don't want to go to above them, because if you do that, then they go, oh, did you see your leader? And you go, yes, I did. And nothing's changing. Nothing's happening. So like you said, the constructive, that is so difficult, because if the leaders, when they say something to us and we don't take it and we can't handle it, then you go, well, you can't do it, blah, blah. Then you go, I asked you 4 times, one simple thing, and you still giving me a hard way to go. And I'm asking you, I've said, please. I said, how are you doing? I mean, but yet you still find it hard to do your assignment.
Man, when I was in school, because you know, graphics is my thing. I never get my illustration class. They always talk about how this instructor was. Man, I worked hard on this project. The day of critique, you had to bring your portfolios in. He tore my work to shreds.
You know, he had to breathe.
I had to take it, man.
He had to breathe.
I had to take it. But I understood the concept of constructive criticism. And then he turned the tables on us, where we had to do constructive criticism on the rest of our classmates' work. That was challenging, because if you were friends with someone and you saw their work, you go, you're using choice words to make sure you were being wise in your delivery, but at the same time, you were friends with this person. So at the end of the day, it was like, not to ruin your friendship. It was in this to let you know this is what you need to do better. The same thing within church. It's nothing to ruin your spiritual connection. Is what you need to do better. And that's the challenge.
Yeah. I there's so much to say. I want to bring some of these comments in. Some of these comments in. Happy birthday, Nita.
Yes.
Unfortunately, there are some who don't want to operate as a team, but the team lead that dictates the responsibility of each team member. There's more. Some are just interested in taking charge or overseeing a team. Okay. Great point.
Yes.
Let's talk about it. There are some folks, if they're not leading, they don't want to do it.
Exactly.
Yes.
They don't want, man, bruh, we all, and I'm not just talking about church. In every aspect of life, if they are not, I was on a soccer team.
Ooh.
And this was when I was old. I might have been 27, 28. I was playing in this league with these grown men.
Mm-hmm.
And there was one guy who swore he should be the leader, but he wasn't. We had a guy that was the captain. We all voted him captain. This guy lost. But every game, when we talked about our strategy, he always had to, whatever that guy said, he had something opposite to say. And it became
That's what I just wrote.
So frustrating to me at 27, 28 years old. One day I just said to him, I said, man, will you just shut up?
Yeah.
And he started yelling at me, and I'm like, I don't give a hoot, man. You just
and I just wrote what you just said. It said the most questions when you're in a meeting from a team come from those who want to be in charge and who are not in charge.
Right.
And they'll always give you the questions like, so what if we do it this way or whatever? And you go, well, I've already told you 3 times we're going to do it this way. So
those are the ones right there.
But you know what? What's good about when the teams can be 2, 3, 4, 8. Sometimes it's these even numbers when they're in teams.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're in a 2-man or woman team, you both have to be in sync so much because you got to understand each other when it's a 2-man team because you're relying on each other and you practice and you don't want to go off because you want to be a hero. So that's difficult also.
Yeah, that's that. Now that is at its finest, right? When there's just 2. Look at a marriage, synergy at its finest. A marriage can work if the 2 are walking the same mindset, right? When they begin to veer, that's when things begin to get shaken. And 2 people, especially in church, when they're given a responsibility. But to tell you the truth, I've noticed that the 2-people teams probably work a lot better than the bigger teams. There's less room for anarchy. Right?
Yes.
They will talk it out and they will figure it out. When you have like 7 or 8 people teams, you hear just certain things and you're like, why are they complaining like this? Why is this even a complaint? There are so much bigger things that we must get to make this work. And they don't understand that. I think Simon was saying in the beginning, each little team in the church, you might not be this team, but you're working, and the 7 teams that come together now make up the one country. Right, USA. Right. You have tons of teams that are going to the Olympics, but they look at the total medals for each country at the end of the day. We love your individual medal, but how many total medals do we bring home? Because that shows that we are as powerful as we say in sports. The church has to be the same way. Each team, ushers, AV room, musicians, praise and worship, administration, kitchen, cleaners, parking, security, whatever it may be, you're going to show how tight of a church and how good of a church you are and a team you are if you all are working together in a capacity that, I know that if you walk to me and ask me about parking, but I'm AV room, I say, you know what? Oh, no, you want to see security? See that person. You're not saying, no. You know what you want to do? You want to go over there and park over there. Don't step out of it. Stay right where your team is and be that point person to point somebody out, because then it makes
stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane.
Well, before you make your next comment, go ahead.
8:00 already. Oh my Lord. Push the button. Share. Like it. I am subscribed. No, I'm subscribe to what you can. We love you all, and we feed off you because you feed off us. We feed off you because we're a teamwork. We can keep on doing that. Appreciate you all. We all do appreciate you.
And go tell your mama and them and baby and them and everybody.
Okay, everybody. Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
All of them.
Go tell your brethren. Okay.
I like how you said that,
brethren. There we go. King Glenn, he said, people sometimes respond differently when they are getting paid. Whoa. verse when they are volunteering. We depend on volunteers being willing and present when expected. That's really great. I like that.
Keith.
I like that, Keith.
Don't disagree with that statement at all. But when there's an incentive, you will see a difference in their attitude.
At first you may.
Yeah, right. That's why I had to retract that.
At first, yeah, but
if you're getting paid,
the church was raised on volunteerism.
Right.
The church has always made leadership in churches have always made mistakes. The first time we paid people to pay for the church work, that was a precedent that was set. That was a mistake. The first time we paid musicians, that was a precedent that was made a mistake. The first time we started to say to our pastors, you need to be on salary, that was a mistake. Pastors should be given a portion of the tithes. That's what the Bible says. That's what leaders do. If the tithes come in, if things come in, then they share between the ministry of the church. That's what the Bible says. The priests, the Levites were kept by the tithing of the people. And all the Levites weren't all the high priests. It was the Levites. They did not get any land. They did not get any houses. They were taken care of by each tribe. That's something that we left a long time ago. Got it. Understand. I'm not crying about it. We go to work and we do what we got to do. But there are things that we have done to make the team not team, just to bring in players. What do you guys think about this? Tell me what you think about this. Do you think, and it's going to hit UCJC bit a little bit. So hope this is not just UCJC, it's everybody. All right. Do you think that we should go outside of our team that has competent players and go get free agents to come in for a 10-day contract to do something and then go back? Now, you all know what I'm talking about. So but
I don't think so. I think we should keep players we have within and not always going out. And the reason why I got to revert back to what I know, when my son was playing Super Y, they got players within the Rio, Maryland. That was the name of the club. They went from one level to the next, because they knew the players. They knew their skill set. They knew how they played. You could not make it to Super Y until you're able to complete a certain level. The Super Y was the top of the top, and that's when you did all the travel. The same thing, I think, within the church. If you know your musicians, mold them, better them, educate them, give them the tools they need to perfect their craft, instead of going out and getting Tom, Dick, and Harry, if you will. That's just my opinion. I'm sticking with
it. See, this is okay. So no. Let me say that.
Answer the question.
No, because even if you do bring somebody in, there's somebody in the church who may not be that active, or they might not even be that verbal or whatever, that has the talent, but no one has really seen it yet, because they sit back and they're too shy. They really want to do it. They try to get pushed to do it, but they don't want to do it. And then you get the rooms. Why we got to go out and get somebody else when we got all these talent in this church? I mean, it will always go both ways. But I mean, the idea when even our bishop, he says, when you come in, when you join, find your team. See which one. He don't want you just come down, sit down, and that's it, and just walk out. Find your team. It can be anything. And if you don't want to, of course, people are going to do what they're going to do anyway. But that's just the part. I mean, I think what he's trying to say also is that's a part of us all getting together and being in unity together. That you can get to know someone else even more if you want a team. You can get to do this instead of trying to be a lone star and just be by yourself. And that's how we trying to be, is get to know each other. And if you be on a team, that's how you build and you build friends, because you start mixing. But I'm not too much for bringing somebody in and they're on a loan and then they're going to leave.
Yeah.
Where the Holy Ghost, man?
Yeah.
No, that's a good point, because
Where the Holy
you're
Ghost?
bringing in all kinds of spirits when you do that.
Yeah. I mean, and to be honest, right, some of these folks are great. And I'll give
Yes,
you,
they're
don't
great.
dispute that. I don't.
I'll give you an example. I think that praise and worship, there is never, when we come to convocation, we should never, ever, it's my opinion, everybody. So when you listen to me, it's my opinion. Remember, it's our opinions. That does not mean it's right or wrong. It's my opinion. We should never have to go outside of our organization to bring somebody to sing.
We got too much talent in here, man.
We got way too much talent.
Right.
If you want to bring somebody on a 10-day or one night to sing, give me the reason why. Are they more anointed than anybody that we have? Just because they couldn't album, just because they doesn't mean they're more anointed than anybody we have. They just have an opportunity to go where God took them to. Me, myself, I think that we have enough talent to be right there. Now, preaching's a little bit different because every team needs sometimes that one player to get you over. So sometimes you're bringing a preacher to set a coaching type of thing. We're going to coach you up. Got it. Everybody brings coaches, special speakers that come in to help their team boost their team up. I get that. But I'm talking about the inner workings of all the other things, musicians, like you said, singers, volunteers. I rather you send brother or sister so-and-so to brother and sister so-and-so to learn and then have them come back and then teach us than you pay brother and sister so-and-so to come and teach all of us. Because I want to create, like you said, a person who can now teach every time, every year. We don't have to bring back brother and sister so-and-so and pay them. We have taught somebody who now knows how to teach people over and over and over again. That's what I would prefer to do. Got a lot of questions.
Yes, we do.
I'm going to go to these comments for questions.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, go.
Staying in lane, very important. Even when you are tempted to cross into another lane, when you don't need to.
Keithy's on a spiritual mountaintop here and coming up with these questions.
I want to address Ken's because Ken says, are there churches that just play songs from iTunes or CDs and not use live music? Yes,
they do.
I've attended 2 churches where they don't have musicians, and so what they use are tracks, but they do have a choir. And so their choir was sing off of a track. I've been to a church where the praise team only sang off of the track because they did not have a musician. So yes, some churches do use that method. And
just like you said, yes, I know churches like that also where they actually don't have, they may have some musicians, but they have praise and worship singers, but not too many. But they use a track or whatever. So they're using what they can use.
Right.
And because you can't compare smaller churches to medium and bigger size churches because the talent level is way different. So when I say way different, the talent may be the same, but they don't have too much. As a bigger church will have a lot more to choose from.
Right, I agree.
So he says, sounds the church is bringing entertainers to entertain the folks in the pew. I mean, that's a possibility. I wouldn't say that directly. I think that sometimes people will bring people in because they think that person will bring people in. Or that person is just anointed and they might have been for instance, there's sometimes you have somebody who was a part of the organization that's doing really well now, and you bring them in because you just want to show them that you love them. There's that too. I mean, and again, there certain things that I feel doesn't mean it's right or wrong. It just means I feel this way. But there are some things that we do in the church, which is right. I feel it's a good thing. If Mark, if you were a part of the organization for 25 years, you decided to go and cut an album, you did great. You're not part of the organization per se, but you got 3 Grammys, and we say, hey, can you come back? And you say, man, I'm not coming back. You have to pay me. I'm going to come back and I'm going to bless this house because this is where I got my cut. This is where I cut my vocals from. And you come in and you're a guest praise and worship singer. We all know you. You're still part of, you're still really part of us. You just moved on to a different ministry. Yeah, come on in. I'm talking about somebody that we don't really know. He or she is, never was part of us, and is just coming in because they're a name. And I don't think UCJC's done that, but other organizations have done that and continue to do it because they want to bring people in, because they know if they get Israel Horton and Newbury to be their praise and worship for that one weekend, tons of people
out.
It's going to pack it out. And I think UCJC, when they do that, it's, of course, when you're looking at the packet and it's convocation week, you're just looking who's preaching.
Yeah.
And then on them days, on whatever days you got, them are the days decides on how many people are going to be at your convocation.
Exactly.
And it's that mindset. So
exactly.
Now, good question. Is that team or is that I'm just a player?
That's strategy.
Strategy.
That's strategy.
I'm talking about you looking at that list of who's preaching and deciding what night you're going to go or what night you're excited about. Are you a team player or are you just playing?
You are just playing. You're just playing.
Yeah.
You're just playing. You're going with what's best, or what should I say, what's more stimulating.
If I'm UCJC, I don't care who's preaching. I'm at convocation.
Exactly. Because you want that parking spot.
I gotta give $10 for a parking spot.
No, they're going through these comments, man. All for a parking space.
No, but isn't that true? If I'm a team player, right? It doesn't make a difference what my coach is telling us to do. I'm there. Mm-hmm. If I'm just playing the game, if I don't want to be there, I'm not going to show up, and I'm just playing. I don't care. It's not my night. I'm going to stay home and rest. But if I'm a team player, you're going to see me no matter what. If it's raining outside, I'm playing the game. If it's not, if it's hot, if it's super hot, I'm playing the game. If it's super cold, I'm going to play the game. Why? Because this is my team, and if I'm not there, I feel that I am letting down my team.
Well, that goes back to the statement I used earlier: accountability. Being accountable, because if I'm looking for you, you're supposed to be on the drums and you're not here. I'm like, okay, I'm looking at a watch going, service starts at 7:00. Here it is, 6:59. Where's the drummer? Nobody knows. Just like you said, you're calling around trying to find him. Where the drummer? He in the back somewhere. Because he's like, I had this attitude, they can't get started until I get there. Mm-hmm. And some people had that attitude about it's not going to start until I get there. And that to me is so dangerous.
They're just playing the game. They're not team players.
They're playing the game, but churches do carry on though without a drummer. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it may sound a little bit okay, but they still can carry on and still praise and worship.
Mm-hmm. It may sound different. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I believe that I'm not just talking about that, though. I'm talking about this in the pews. If you know that this is your team, this is my team. What makes soccer great, what makes a lot of these sports that we watch great, or not the outskirt fans who are only there. We call them bandwagon fans. Bandwagon. Those fans don't make sports great. Mm-hmm. What makes sports great are the diehard. This is my team.
Right.
We could be 0 whatever, or we can win 10 championships in a row. This is my team. I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. I've had almost 30 years of nothing but but it's my team. You ask me, who's your football team? In the 90s, I could brag. I was woohoo, Dallas Cowboys. Right now, I'm like, Dallas Cowboys, So, but that's my team. And if they were going to come and play, and if I had the ability to go to every game, I would go to every game. Mm-hmm. We've got a lot of people who only come when they feel that either they're in a winning position or that something special is about to happen.
Mm-hmm. Well, that speaks to like church anniversaries, pastor service, or Mother's Day, Senior's Day, whatever. When it's a special event, the church is going to be packed out because that's their mindset. I'm only going to come when it's a special event. So to me, they're just players. They're not actual team members. They're just coming for that moment, get that quick fix. Like I spoke of earlier, once that quick fix has happened, they're gone. As they say, they roll out.
This is actually a good question by Ken. Finally, a good question by Ken. What's
Finally.
wrong with what's wrong with rotating the players in positions like volleyball? Okay,
Nothing.
volleyball coach.
Nothing. Well, no, to his point, because there's some people who are in a position for a long time, because some churches keep you as the men's president, women's coordinator for years upon years. They've served their time. It's time to rotate them out, put somebody else in.
That's a different rotation, though. Okay,
That's perspective I'm coming from. But
that's a different volleyball rotation. Okay, when you do rotate your players, they're coming into a certain position. They're not just being put into like the center or the back or whatever. They're rotated into a position where we know they can play.
Yeah,
now, where the coach knows where they can play. He's not going to put them up the front if they're not a blocker and you 4'6". That don't make no sense if you put them up the net. So the rotation, I understand what he's saying, but when you rotate a player, they know where they're going. The coach has told them what they got to do, and that's how they rotate. So in church, that's a different. You can't really rotate like that. It's not a rotation thing.
Well, you can, right? Because if you have a kitchen staff, listen, think about this. You have a kitchen staff, right?
You got who?
You have a kitchen staff. You
Okay.
have
Yes.
15 people on your kitchen staff, but all 15 can't be in the kitchen.
Exactly.
Well, certain times you rotate this person. Oh, we're cooking American food, so I need the person who can cook American in the kitchen. Oh, we're cooking Jamaican food. I need the person who cooks Jamaican. Oh, we're cooking Indian food. Oh, you're rotating the players, but guess what never changes? The team captain.
Mm-hmm.
They could be on the bench, but they're still team captain.
The head chef.
And so the rotation is because we're doing like you said, we're doing something specific that we need done and accomplished at this time. But the game plan stays the same, leadership stays the same, and coaching stays the same. I'm putting you in now because I see your ability to do something is needed at this moment. Whereas you're still on this team. It's not that you're part of the security staff and I'm bringing you over. You're part of the kitchen staff, but I'm rotating you in because you're specialty. The volleyball team's a volleyball team. And that's my thought.
So that comes to coaching. So when you do rotate and you bring someone in, even if it's from a different, say, church level or whatever, that's where you got to have a discussion with that person. I'm putting you here because this is what I want you to do. So that comes to the team member, the coach, how you talk to the person that you're bringing in to rotate.
Yeah. How many times do you see the head coach tell the assistant coach on a football pitch, go bring in Johnson, right? This is what I want. He whispers into the assistant coach's ear. Assistant coach now goes, sits beside Johnson and tells him exactly what the coach just said. Johnson then warms up. And before he subs in, he stands beside the coach and the coach reminds him, this is what I want you to do. All right. And sends him in.
Don't you see that a lot in soccer?
Got to be leadership.
Don't you see the substitution in soccer?
Yeah.
They never come on without talking to the coach or the assistant coach.
That's what I'm saying. They talk to both, right? Yes. It's almost like it's levels, right? The coach talks to the assistant coach. The assistant coach goes, sits with the player, tells him what he wants. The guy warms up, and before he steps on the pitch, he stands beside the coach, and the coach reminds him, "This is what we want. Don't go in there and do something."
But then you have that one player who's reluctant to come off the pitch. Let's talk about that. They're reluctant. You notice how they take their own sweet time to come off. They're like, I'm not done yet. I still have more I can contribute. But no, we want you off because we see you either you've exhausted your legs or you've exhausted what you needed to be what needed to be done. Now it's time for you to come off and let somebody else come on. But there's some people like that in the church. They don't want to move.
So you telling the drummer, come on, man, you gotta get off. You gotta get off. I ain't getting off.
I ain't getting off.
You know you can't make him get off.
One more song. One
more song. Give me one more song. Nope.
But did you see that YouTube clip where that preacher guy said, I am sick of you.
Yes.
Of you singing like this,
yes,
because they're supposed to be having rehearsal. Evidently, that rehearsal wasn't effective enough because what they were singing was not a joyful noise. I think he basically stopped them Yeah, he basically stopped them mid-sing and said, stop it.
Yeah, I think he got mad. Well, I saw the one where the guy got mad and said, "You guys sing the same song."
Yeah.
Over and over. I'm tired of it. I want to hear a new
I
song.
want to hear a new song.
Let me be at your rehearsals.
Okay. So remember, team players now have virtual from home options on Sundays. They're not team players. Let's go.
No.
Come on. Anyone can greet.
No, they can't. I'm sorry, they can't. No.
Yeah, see, I think Ken's just trying to push some buttons.
Yes, he is. He needs to push his own button.
Right.
No sense. So we're not gonna jump into that because we're not.
Because you cannot. Everyone is a greeter. Not everybody can talk.
Church and soccer, football. Not sure the comparison is right. That's because
Anyway.
you don't know soccer or football.
Right.
But teams are teams, and all great teams are managed a certain way and create. And we're talking about the church becoming a team. The 12 disciples were a team.
What haven't we been
And
talking
there's
about?
a reason why there's 11 on a pitch, because Judas can't be on the pitch. So you would have 12, but you have 11 because Judas can't be on the pitch. So it's just like football. Disciples were.
Right.
He was the coach. Amen. Nice mention kitchen staff. I just watched our kitchen staff do exemplary work. Their teamwork was outstanding. Definitely a good example of how it should be done.
Absolutely, and we totally agree.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Esther.
Tell me what they did, y'all.
No, it's exactly what you said.
Teamwork.
No, it's exactly what you said. You have people in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
You have people who serve,
mm-hmm.
and then you have people who they serve and put them on the tables.
Mm-hmm.
They go rotation. Then where the silverware is, and they go. They're all team. We have not seen nobody go, wait a minute, let me do the chicken. You do the potato. I'm doing better than everybody's in there, and you don't see people in the kitchen bump into each other, running around each other, because they stick to their assignments.
Right.
So Esther, that's a great example of teamwork. And we've seen it done.
Right. If you're supposed to be chopping the onions, you're chopping the onions. If you chop potatoes, you're chopping potatoes. If you're bagging, you're bagging. Everyone has an assignment, and they stick with it.
Yeah, and children are not in the kitchen.
Right.
Yes, definitely. Nope. Don't go in there.
It causes distraction, right?
Yes.
So it's true.
Well,
that
let's talk about that. Distractions.
Wow.
Go for it, bro.
Let's talk. When you have that player who causes
Ronaldo.
major distractions that messes up the rest of the team.
Rooney.
In church.
Oh, in
You
church.
have-
Okay,
in
my bad.
both. But in church, you have that particular person who is the one who causes a lot of confusion. So the team is not going to work well because they have odds or issues against the one who's giving directives. So they're going to make the rest of the team follow them versus following what the leader has to say.
Or attempt
Or attempt.
for the other team. Because that's when the word comes in, when you have 10 players, 9 are cool, 1 wants to do what they want to do. And then what they will do is talk to someone who's outside the team, let them try and come into your conversation and say something to you instead of them coming to you and having a conversation. So all of a sudden, instead of there's 10 of you talking, you got 11 and 12 because you don't told 2 other people that they're not doing it this way. I try to do it this way and blah, 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 when they really haven't. And now you're bringing in folks when it had got nothing to do with them.
Right.
Yeah.
Misery loves company.
Yeah, bro. Distractions. Okay, so the first thing is that some people don't believe they're a distraction, and they are.
Denial.
It comes very tough. They think that, I'm helping, and it could be that that's what they truly believe. And I'm not going to say they don't.
Yes, and I agree.
But the problem is that even though you believe it, doesn't mean that's what it is. Sometimes you are a distraction. Leaders already have it tough enough. Whether you're from pastor, presidents, elders, an officer, or whatever, given the responsibility. Leaders already have it tough enough because you're normally dealing with different personalities.
Right.
Yes.
And to be able to navigate those personalities to do something jointly, it takes those personalities to give up something and to relinquish that to the leader. And that's trust, right? And when you cause distraction, that means you don't trust the leader, and you probably don't trust the person who put that person as the leader.
You need to say that again.
Yeah,
that was good.
It's tough, right? So that's where it comes from, right? If you want me to say it again, I can, but
Put on the video.
Put on for this. This is the video again. But no, that's what it really comes down to, right? Because you're causing you aren't working with the team because you're unwilling to sacrifice your own desire or your own even intellect. You might be the smartest person in the room, but there is a time and a place to put your smarts into action, and it normally isn't to cause distraction. It's when the leader,
2 more questions out there, Rupert.
Yeah, and leaders, of course, that's why it's so difficult for leaders also, because you have all these personalities, and somehow, somewhere, you got to satisfy all of them if you want to work as a team. So your strategy's got to be really good, prayerfully good, that you can say whatever you want to say to your team to make them work together. Where's the DT Jones?
Okay, wait. This one, this actually is honest, because who is the boss? Who is running the show? The person who is not leaving or the leader? Not leaving?
Well, somebody leaving?
That question, Cam. I'm kind of confused.
You leaving?
Give me that question again, in a different way. Kind of confused.
You got less than a minute, Ken.
Yeah, next one.
How do you tell someone they are distracted without offending someone? It's impossible.
It's impossible. It's very impossible. I mean, one, you need to be prayed up. Watch how you say it, because it is going to be a challenge. It's not an easy conversation.
Unless that person understands they are a distraction, it's impossible. They're going to be offended. They may say they're not, but they're going to be offended. I've been there. I'm not going to lie.
And then you just get a phone call the next day.
I was the distraction, and when they told me I was the distraction, I said, cool. And I went back and I was offended because I said, oh, I do all this, I do this, I do this. But I was a distraction. Now I look at it and said, yeah, I was.
Wow, man, we're out of time.
Dang. 8:29?
What they want.
Help us, Lord.
Oh, man.
Wow.
So Ken, that's a good question. Oh, man, this is a good question. Humility works.
Humility works.
We'll come back to it. Amen.
Yes.
Man, guys, we're out of time. Hey, a great show, great conversation. Wow. Hey, next week I won't be here. These two will. But next week we're going to talk about have you ever bridled your tongue? How gossip affects a church. Ooh. I'm not going to be here for that one, but it's going to be good.
We'll see you, Esther.
All right. So stay tuned. Watch and hear what these guys got to say.
Because you might hear us say,
you're welcome.
You're welcome.
Hey, you did it. Hey, that was close, but it still wasn't on time. We're going.
Anyway.